Tamuka Chihota. I'm the Managing Director of Frontline Contracting, a construction and civil works company that was duly registered in 2014. I'm 33 years old. I grew up in Mondoro and I went to the schools in Mondoro, the rural schools in Mondoro. I had a dream, and I just felt that even though I was in the communal areas there, I was destined to become big, or to change people's lives, or to occupy leadership positions. So my dream did not die because I was living in the rural areas and struggling to pay fees. I did well. I passed my O levels, and then I was adopted by one of my nephews. He took me to high school. I also did well there. I moved from high school to university from 2004 to 2007, where I completed my degree in social sciences. It was difficult it shows that when you are determined, you are so determined and good in what you are doing, people will notice. So this nephew of mine noticed that I was doing well and adopted me and paid all my fees all the way up to university. I graduated in 2007. That is the period when things were beginning to get very difficult in Zimbabwe. That's the period of the hyperinflationary environment. So I sought sanctuary in the Middle East, in Dubai. I went to Dubai. I worked in Dubai for a construction company. That's where my interest in construction began to develop. Prior to that, I did not have any interest whatsoever in construction. Actually, I wanted to pursue law, but because I didn't have enough points, I had not gathered enough points to be able to enroll for a law degree. I found my dream dashed, and I had to settle for what, I scored 12 points at university, and I had to settle for what was on offer, what was available, that would tally with the points that I had scored. So when I went to Dubai, everything changed. I started to like the construction in Dubai. They use, maybe I could call them 5D technology. They use the latest equipment, plant and tool in their construction. Manual is, you hardly see people on site. Of course, there will be people, but most of them are operating machines. So my interest in construction grew. So when I came back, I worked for a construction company. I started as a volunteer because I wanted to learn. My roots are anchored in Robert Kiyosaki's philosophy and principles. So I followed some of his principles, which said, work to learn. So I worked to learn and work for free. So those are some of the fundamentals. And if you want to achieve whatever you want to achieve, you should work to learn and learn to work for free. Because it is only when you work to learn that you delve yourself deeper and immerse yourself fully into the subject, and you get the broader knowledge and experience of how things operate. So that's what I did. And in 2014, I packed my bags because I had learned enough. And I registered Frontline Contracting. We started operating in May 2014. We operated with no budget, with no money. Again, I used the Robert Kiyosaki's principles. One of his principles that I like most is you don't need money to make money. So I wanted to test that principle. I tested it. I registered the company. I started operating with no offices, with nothing, absolutely nothing, just a registered company. Then in August of the same year, we started tendering, bidding for, competing for tenders and available jobs. And our breakthrough, our first project, you won't believe it, we were awarded a project of electrical rewiring of all the clients by Old Mutual. And Old Mutual, they go through a very, very meticulous verification and assessment process So I don't know, maybe by divine providence they would say set in, because we had a vision, we had a mission, we wanted to test the theories, and this is where we are 3 years down the line. We are still operating. We have dealt with quite a number of clients of high profile, of worth mentioning ZPC Wanke, Red Cross Society of Zimbabwe, Zenara, GMB, and a number of local councils. So our vision is to become a leading international construction company. We are not confined, or we are not confining ourselves to the local border or the boundaries, the local boundaries, that is Zimbabwe per se. But we are looking beyond Zimbabwe, beyond SADC, beyond Africa, beyond Africa as a continent, Europe, Asia, you name it. Because of globalization, the world is now one. So you can do business anyway. So we are still pursuing our vision, and in line of that, we have registered a company in South Africa. We now have a frontline contracting in South Africa, which opened its doors in May 2017. Of course, it's just a skeletal staff of just 3 people, 3 employees. But that's the beginning. That's how we began as well. So we started in 2014 here in Zimbabwe. We were offering, mainly we were just doing building when we started. We were just doing building construction. Then, of course, the auxiliary services, we started to look out for specialist services like carpentry, painting, tiling. We now have all those skills in-house. The industry is affected by the economy. When the economy is not functioning, like in Zimbabwe, obviously it affects all sectors of the economy, and construction is also affected. By December 2016, we were operating at below 30% capacity. And that happens, that is bound to happen when the government has no national project. You know, when you have, in 30 years, you have a major project of Beit Bridge to Chirundu Highway, being a project that excites everyone in the sector and everyone wanting a piece of cake out of it. It shows that nothing much is happening. So nothing much has been happening in the construction industry. The infrastructure, Zimbabwe is lagging, I think, maybe 40, 50 years behind. If you go to other countries, if you come to Zimbabwe, if you do your comparison, you can see that nothing is moving. However, that presents an opportunity, because in every problem, as an entrepreneur, all you see are opportunities. So there are plenty of opportunities to resuscitate the infrastructure, to enter into maybe private or public partnerships with local authorities. Of course, that requires funding, and funding is one of the major issues that affects construction. But if the laws are relaxed and if people are allowed to enter into those partnerships, there are a lot of investors, you'll be surprised, out there who are willing to come and partner local entities. But what you need are the good deals that are structured enough to be able to revive the construction sector as well as infrastructure. So at Frontline Contracting, we have been forced to be innovative, where we just relied on tenders and supplier registrations. We have moved a mile extra, getting into partnerships with the schools, partnerships with local authorities, where you provide service, you build, perhaps operate, and transfer. We are looking at all those aspects, and recently we are working on an idea where we want now to turn the containers that are lying idle into sustainable homes. And one of our competitive advantage is we are going green. wherever we are going and selling our products, we are advocating for sustainable solutions, and we are advocating for going green. So we believe that will give us a competitive edge, an extra edge, whereby you go to a property owner and you tell them you can cut maybe 50% on your electricity if we replace the current electricity with maybe LED lights. If you go green, you don't pay us, but pay us from what you are saving. We believe that will give us a very competitive edge. We are still packaging the product, but very soon we'll hit the markets with the product. At Frontline Contracting, we have 14 permanent employees and 3 students on attachment. That goes on to show that we are in line with the government's policy of Zimaset. I think the head of state once spoke about becoming an employer rather than an employee. So we have 14 livelihoods that are being sustained by the business that we have. We have 2 divisions, and one is construction, building construction, and the other one is civil works. So under building construction, we are looking at, these are some of the packages that we have. We are looking at painting, tiling, roofing, which encompasses also carpentry works, plumbing works, and most of the times as a freebie to our clients. We normally don't charge for plumbing works. We normally use it as a discount, and we normally give it for free to our clients. So we are saying, if you give us a job, we discount. Not only do we discount, we also offer you free services, as far as plumbing services are concerned. All you have to do is to just buy your material and you come and do the job for free. So under building and construction, those are some of the major services that we offer. We also do waterproofing and refurbishments. That's most of the things that come under building and construction. And perhaps we'll talk about solar system installations and electricals as well. And under civil works, we resuscitate roads, that's graveling, tarring, pothole patching, bridges, structural and steel designs. So those are some of the services that we offer. Of course, we have to change with the current trends. When you look at the current trends everywhere, even in America, they've adopted the use of solar system, the use of biogas. I was in Dubai, and you'll be surprised that most of their buildings are powered by these solar systems. And I also saw another innovation. I think it's not yet fully fledged, where they were using windmill to draw power or to generate power. It's something that we can also try to look at as innovative entrepreneurs. I was in Dubai, and I realized that most of their buildings are solar powered, because electricity, generation of electricity, one people need to understand that it's very expensive. So you need an alternative to hydro electricity. But when you go green, you are just using the natural resources. And most of the panels now are, the environmentally friendly. It's cheaper anyway. People just shy away from solar system because they think the installation is expensive. Of course, it can be expensive in the short term, but in the long term, if you compare the amount of consumption that you would pay for hydroelectric power versus solar power system, you'd find there is a very significant discrepancy. And people would save a lot if they were to invest in solar system. What we have started doing now is we are now offering zero deposit when it comes to solar system. What we just need to find out is are the individual reliable? Can they afford? Are they able to? Is there a fallback position where we can fall back and recover or recoup our expenses? So as part of promoting the usage of solar system in homes, in the schools, we have come up with a package where we are saying, allow us to come and install the solar system at your building and see how much difference it will make if you have been using electricity. Of course, people might think it's expensive, yes, but in the long run, you can save up to 50%, even 60% at times, because all you do now when you have solar system, maybe you are looking at just changing the batteries, etc., or maybe increasing the grid. Those are the only things that you're looking at. But whenever you're using hydroelectric power, whatever you are using, whatever you are powering at home, comes with a charge, and the charge on online contracting, we are striving. We are not there yet. We are never satisfied. Of course, we still occupy a very small margin fraction in terms of marketing visibility, marketing presence, and competing with other household names and giants in construction industry. We're still learning. One of the biggest attributes that we have is we have never stopped learning. We continue to learn. So as long as you open your mind to learning, you can never be satisfied. So that's one of the things that keeps driving us, that we continue to learn. Yes, the environment is tough. Things are very difficult. But look, we have to survive. So we come up with innovative measures. We come up with the strategies. We do business strategies with the consultants who help us here and there, and how to package our system, our business system, how we streamline expenses, how we cut costs, how we use the resources that we have efficiently. So I think we are on the right track. We're on the right track. You know, when I was in Dubai, like I said before, there is this technological advancement that we are yet to get to. Pardon me if I'm wrong. The only time that I saw a crane in Zimbabwe was when I was traveling from Shambo. I think there's an individual, is it a company that are constructing a multi-story building. You don't need that as a country. One of the biggest signs that an economy is doing well is the infrastructure development. How are they developing their buildings? How are they developing their roads? In major countries or developed countries, once you step out of the plane on the airport, the first thing that we see is a crane. So government need now to perhaps relax the laws. I'm not sure, I'm not well versed in terms of how the laws operate in that sector, but I was thinking government should allow equipment, new advanced equipment, construction equipment to come in Zimbabwe duty-free. That would help, because those machineries are very expensive. And when you come here and you have to deal with excess duty, when you have to deal with the Zimbra, when you have to deal with all those, it makes them even more expensive. People would rather use the old and archaic methods of construction. So in Dubai, I realized that if you use modern technology, you cut on expenses, you cut on time, and also you improve on quality. Those are the very major important things that I learned in Dubai. So here in Zimbabwe, we are not yet there because most of our equipment is old. Most of our equipment is outdated. So it will take a lot of time. It's expensive because most of the work is laborious and manual. So we consume a lot of time, a lot of expenses, and it eats onto your profit margins. But if you have new technologically advanced and 5D equipment, you improve on your efficiency and you also increase on your profit margins. Zimbabwean industry, I would say, it's currently stagnant. It's not growing, but there are plenty of opportunities. When you compare with maybe our neighbors in South Africa, you'd find that there's a specific period of time where a building is allowed to stand. And after that, there are inspections, and the buildings, a proper building that you would think would still go for another 100 years, will be demolished, and they start building afresh. In Zimbabwe, I think the problem is we are wasting a lot of land. We now need to start constructing multi-story buildings. When you have countries like Dubai building, I was privileged that when it was officially opened, I was there, the Burj Khalifa, probably the tallest building in the world right now. It saves a lot in terms of space. But in Zimbabwe, you have all those, maybe if you are lucky to get a double story, perhaps. But if you compare now with Southern Africa at large, they have moved away from that because we are wasting land. The current design was done by the colonialists during the colonial era because they did not anticipate this massive rural to urban migration. So now that we are independent and there's a lot of opportunities are mainly found in town. So there's a lot of influx of people coming from rural to urban migration. And that has put a very, very serious pressure on the utilities and the facilities that we have, which is why we have a dilapidation of infrastructure. We have old sewer system that cannot sustain the number of residents that are using the facilities. So Zimbabwe needs to move away from that and start building multi-story buildings to save space and to also improve on utilization of space as well. Government, I think, have started a noble thing in terms of mass housing that creates opportunities. Yeah. Recently, I'm told the civil servants, the houses for civil servants will start to be built, I think, this year, or 1st of December, if I'm not mistaken. That shows that government has a desire to see things happening. Perhaps the challenge are, of course, the liquidity crisis that we have been having since 2000. But I think we can do more if we allow independent players to come on board, if we allow investors from outside the country, if there's investor confidence. The problem in Zimbabwe is that there's a lot of suspicion. People don't really know the Zimbabwean story. People are skeptical. People think that if they invest, their properties will be taken over. There's that suspicion. But government can do more if they promulgate, go out there and tell the people the real story, that people's property rights are respected, people can come and invest. That would do well in terms of that. The other thing that I want to speak about is, as youth, we are shunned in the society. People don't believe. I remember I go to some meetings and I'm introduced as the managing director of Frontline, and people want to know how old I am. I tell them I'm 33. You get to see the body language. People don't believe that this young man is a youth. What can he do? Government now needs to come up with a policy, right, whereby they say they reserve a quota of projects, especially national projects, to the youth. You see, the highway Chirundu, the Bedbridge to Chirundu highway presents a lot of opportunities, right? But if big players only are allowed that big cake and youth are sidelined, we are the builders of the economy, we are the tomorrow's giants. So we need to be supported, we need to incubation. So government should come up with a policy whereby they say, for every project, every major project, there is maybe 20%, 10% youth quota, which means every giant in the construction industry is required to work with a youth-driven or youth-owned organization. In South Africa, they use the BEE rankings, whereby they say if you are, for example, a WHO, to get some tax breaks, you have to take maybe BEE level 1 company, you subcontract. By so doing, you are capacitating the new company that has just been birthed. The new company will also grow to become a big company. They also they also look for another small emerging company. They help them up also. Each one, teach one, each one, assist one to rise. And then by so doing, we will not have this negative perception towards youth-owned businesses. I think the government's policy of decent housing, decent accommodation for all is a noble thing. But there can be a better way of doing it. Specifically, if you look at places like Hopley and Epworth, where there is mushrooming of houses, shanty houses everywhere. The government needs to put its foot down and regularize settlement in those areas. We cannot put the cart before the horse. You can't do that. First things first. You start by developing the area first, right? You determine the number of people or settlers who are going to occupy that place. And you anticipate growth, right? You leave a provision for the growth, because the population is bound to grow, right? So you leave a provision for that. So what do you do as a government? As a government, if say, Epworth is maybe, area for settlement is maybe, for mathematics sake, is 50,000 square meters. How many families can settle, or how many stands, allocated stands, can fit into a 50,000 square meters? That's one thing that you need to do. Then you develop a plan. What is a plan that is, you have the type of settlement that is going to be used or adopted in that particular area? Are we going to use a linear settlement? What kind of settlement are we going to use? So if you look at those areas, you just see people building, they occupy maybe 80 square meters, they have no facility for ablution, there's no facility for water, for safe and clean water. People just build, the government turns a blind eye. Then what do you see? Maybe you know what happened maybe in 2008 when the government now in trying to rectify that problem. The problem had become so big, the operation Munabatsina, now we are affecting families. So before government gets to that, government needs to plan, right? Allow us players in the industry to come up with the different designs, different plans that the government can adopt, and allow people can pay for value. If you go to Epworth today and tell those people, hopefully today, and tell those people who want to demolish all these structures, we want to put proper roads, we want to put clean water, sewer system, but you guys have to pay, right? People will be willing as long as there is an alternative settlement accommodation that the government can provide, and allow people structures to be properly set up and properly built. So those are some of the opportunities that we lose in the construction sector, because before people start building there are services that we can offer. We go there, we build roads, we build sewer and water lines. Those are opportunities that are there. And you can organize people into clusters so that they build as clusters. Yeah, they have a pool of fund, you go there, you build. There are plenty of opportunities, but they are being eroded because somebody just wakes up, they put up a structure, the government turns a blind eye on it. The government needs to be involved. They know, the town planners know where this town will, how big this town will be, and when is the next settlement. We have to plan before we get there. Talking about Zimbabwe business and the arts hub, Ziba. I joined Ziba in May this year, and it's a network of business people and arts people in the arts industry. It's my first time that I realized that arts and business can work together, can coexist. So at Ziba, we have different platforms of engagements. They've helped frontline contracting. Personally, I've benefited a lot from Ziba because of the networks that have developed from Ziba, the linkages, business linkages. Now they are advocating for in-house business linkages, where if I come in as a construction player, I require the services of maybe an air condition company or a kitchen cabinet, kitchen partitioning company. We work with them within Ziba. So yes, they can take your business up higher there. We have meetings where we pitch our businesses, we brainstorm, we look at our best. Can we help each other? So yeah, people should try and become part of this network because, like Nelson Mandela said, no man is an island. We need each other, and you need to be your voice to be heard when you have come together and grouped together with the same objective, similar goals, similar values, than as an individual. It's more easy to raise your voice and be heard and be noticed if you are a grouping of serious-minded people than when you're an individual. So we come up with our different concerns, different issues, we group them together, we have one voice, which is Ziba. So I'm speaking here. Already we have started the marketing and material campaign, all caters of Ziba. We've also started the rebranding of the organization, all because of Ziba. So I would say I've benefited a lot from Ziba. So at Frontline, like I said, we employ 14 people. Of those 14 people, 2 are engineers, civil engineers, 1 structural engineer. Then we have the people from accounts, marketing, the team from marketing, accounts. Our culture, most of our beliefs are anchored in what we call the BI system. We operate through what we call a BI triangle. That's the business investor mode of doing business. We don't do business the conventional way, where we look at what time did you arrive at work, can you log in, what time did you leave for home, can you log out. We don't do that. Here, we say, what have you done? If you come here for 20 minutes, what have you done? Because we realize that some companies put emphasis on your availability on the premises. We don't so much focus on your availability on the premises. We focus on what have you done. So we have a culture of competence, whereby each and every member of the team acts as a policeman or a watchdog to another member. Because they believe, but they know that at the end of the day, it is what we produce that will put food on our table. So we also engaged a consultant who was helping us with the strategy. So we've come up with a 5-year strategy. We did that in May last year. And part of the strategy that we are now adopting was the movement from Zimbabwe to South Africa. And I said in May this year, we started operating in South Africa. Those are some of the things that came out from the strategy. Because we're looking at the issue of bond notes, the issue of liquidity crisis, the issue of the economy at large, the elections coming. There's a lot of disruption that we anticipated to come. So we are positioning now frontline contracting at a regional level. In South Africa, we have a quantity surveyor, an engineer, and an operations manager who are manning the South African office. And we are using in South Africa, they have what they call business hubs, where you just have your desk there, you have a common receptionist, you have a desk. So we are still penetrating South Africa. From South Africa, I think we want to venture into Zambia, and from Zambia, Namibia. We are also saying, this is one of the areas that I think we need to tap into. We are now brainstorming, looking around areas and issues of how best we can tap into the diaspora market. You do understand that a lot of Zimbabweans are scattered outside the country, in Europe, Asia, America, you name. They don't have people that they trust that with their funds. Some people sent monies, thousands of dollars a year, and they were promised that the mansions are being built, only to come and realize that nothing has been put in place. So we are saying it is easy and better for someone who is in America, who is in Dubai, who is in South Africa, to trust us with their funds. They can appoint a funds manager, they can appoint a family representative if they want, or they can hire a consulting company. We do the job. They don't have stress. All they need is the plan. All we need is the plan. We look into their plans. We give them the keys when they come back, so that when they come back here, they don't have a heart attack of things that were said to have been done and were not done on the ground. So at Frontline, like I said, we employ 14 people. Of those 14 people, 2 are engineers, civil engineers, 1 structural engineer. Then we have the people from accounts, marketing, the team from marketing, accounts. Our culture, most of our beliefs are anchored in what we call the BI system. We operate through what we call a BI triangle. That's the business investor mode of doing business. We don't do business the conventional way, where we look at what time did you arrive at work, can you log in, what time did you leave for home, can you log out. We don't do that. Here, we say, what have you done? If you come here for 20 minutes, what have you done? Because we realize that some companies put emphasis on your availability on the premises. We don't so much focus on your availability on the premises. We focus on what have you done. So we have a culture of competence, whereby each and every member of the team acts as a policeman or a watchdog to another member. Because they believe, but they know that at the end of the day, it is what we produce that will put food on our table. So we also engaged a consultant who was helping us with the strategy. So we've come up with a 5-year strategy. We did that in May last year. And part of the strategy that we are now adopting was the movement from Zimbabwe to South Africa. And I said in May this year, we started operating in South Africa. Those are some of the things that came out from the strategy. Because we're looking at the issue of bond notes, the issue of liquidity crisis, the issue of the economy at large, the elections coming. There's a lot of disruption that we anticipated to come. So we are positioning now frontline contracting at a regional level. In South Africa, we have a quantity surveyor, an engineer, and an operations manager who are manning the South African office. And we are using in South Africa, they have what they call business hubs, where you just have your desk there, you have a common receptionist, you have a desk. So we are still penetrating South Africa. From South Africa, I think we want to venture into Zambia, and from Zambia, Namibia. We are also saying, this is one of the areas that I think we need to tap into. We are now brainstorming, looking around areas and issues of how best we can tap into the diaspora market. You to understand that a lot of Zimbabweans are scattered outside the country, in Europe, Asia, America, you know. They don't have people that they trust that with their funds. Some people sent money, thousands of dollars here, and they were promised that the mansions are being built, only to come and realize that nothing has been put in place. So we are saying it is easy and better for someone who is in America, who is in Dubai, who is in South Africa, to trust us with their funds. They can appoint a funds manager, they can appoint a family representative if they want, or they can hire a consulting company. We do the job. They don't have stress. All they need is the plan. All we need is the plan. We look into their plans. We give them the keys when they come back, so that when they come back here, they don't have a heartache of things that were said to have been done and were not done on the ground.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.